Hello. So, I need to first thank a few people who have given me some very valuable feedback. Manju, particularly to mention, and several other people who have contributed and have given me feedback about the work and have asked me to get my videos to be of more of a standard, proper lighting, not much noise around. I'm yet to get to the infrastructure and all of that is required to make those kind of videos. So, meanwhile, there is so much that needs to be said about the work. Probably making one video will not suffice, but I have been kind of held back by not having my videos be of the kind of standard which the feedback was given to me kindly. So I was kind of petrified, and then I decided I'm just as anybody else. I'm work in progress. It has taken me a lot of time to be able to even speak in front of the camera. I have been pretty camera shy. I wouldn't go with selfies. It came to a point where I found that my work is valuable and is valuable in many spheres of life, of health, that something something else became more important than the fear and the inhibitions and the embarrassments. And hence, I have been speaking to the best of my ability to share my work, to speak about what I'm noticing, and it's pretty amazing. So I may not be as effective a communicator as to convey the depth, the width, and the scope of the work yet. But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one little step at a time. And hence, I'm sharing with whatever ability I have. And I've noticed that over a period of time, I'm able to better communicate my work. I'm able to better get across through to people with fewer words. You should have listened to me earlier. I would go to explain one line, I would go like paragraphs. I still may be doing that, but in comparison, I'm measuring my own progress. But there's a lot of progress now. I feel a lot more confident about being able to communicate to some extent, at least. I know there are several areas that needs work, including making videos of that meets a certain standard of expectation. But I also keep finding that as I'm making progress, I'm working on making progress. What is also becoming possible is that the gaps that separates from where I am and where I should be ideally, that gap is getting that gap is getting filled. And what that means is, over a period of time, we may have developed certain patterns of behavior or patterns of strategies, coping mechanisms by which to deal with howsoever things may have come about. Not all our experiences are conducive to how things should be. Sometimes things happen that are not very conducive, and then we develop coping mechanisms, we develop strategies, and we veer away from how optimum health should be. So my communication patterns, the way I speak, the way I may not be speaking as well as I should be, is also a consequence of several things by which I had to find ways that may not have been as conducive to effective communication. So the more I am working in towards that ideal, I'm finding that patterns of behavior, patterns of thinking and emotions, which may have taken me away from where I should have been, ideally, is now getting restored, it's getting healed. So, what I'm trying to say here is every attempt, every effort counts in several ways. And one of the things that does happen is past experiences that were not conducive, that were not healthy, that gave rise to unhealthy patterns. The more your work in progress towards an ideal that you would like to be in, you're not only getting closer and better, and towards actually reaching where you would like to be, but you're also actually healing and and resolving patterns that may have been limiting you all this while. That has, in one way or the other, however they may have come about, but they have been stopping you from finding the kind of pace that you would ideally should have had, which would have you unlock your potential, unravel your gifts, and thereby being contributory to life. So no matter what your field of interest is, try and become a master at it. Even if it's try to get to a state of perfecting a skill, or acquiring a skill set that has in itself be a virtue. In your attempt to have that, you would be being work in progress, and that not only has you have become fine as an instrument by which you can live life. Take it any kind of an instrument, like a very fine knife, or a very nice screwdriver, or any kind of instrument for that matter. A fine instrument does very fine work. So your attempt to become that fine instrument, your attempt to reach towards perfection, in and of itself heals things that could not be earlier, while also unlocking your potential and giving you a certain oomph that may not be possible otherwise. Thank you for listening.